headset I've been messing with.
Okay, so we're
And I-
recording. And I don't know whose lovely face is going to show up as the face of the recording, but it's either you or me, David.
All right. It should be you. You're recording it.
Yeah, well, no, because I get a different person every time. I've gotten Brienne going. I've gotten Terza going. And like a bunch of different people. I've gotten you, I think, a couple times. So anyway, carry on.
Okay. And just as an FYI, my headset is at 30% power. If it does happen to die, I'll reconnect with my phone. So be patient and I will rejoin you.
Okay.
Sounds good. So I guess the first question is, do we want to pull the current amendment from the all thing and rework it some more before we actually vote on it?
Which one?
The one about the COC and termination of membership and all that.
My opinion on that is it's really kind of intricately connected to the COC handbook.
Which is a good guideline, but isn't actually an official anything, right?
No,
It
it's
is.
not. Well, it is. It's a official, but it's not part of the Corpora.
It's an
We
official
voted
supplement.
on it, though. Yeah, so I remember us voting on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the COC handbook points back to the Corpora under mundane issues for suspending. And other than that, says very little. So if we update the Corpora, the COC handbook, I think except for one sentence, just follows the Corpora.
It should follow the Corpora. And I know that this is kind of an aside, but it's also needs to be updated as far as the what if the monarch is
Right.
it's going to be
It's the
connected to
subject of-
So
it's
there's
of item 4, and it goes into a whole lot more detail as far as what to do if one of the Kingdom Monarch, Prime Minister, and GMR are involved in the complaint, and that's what the COC handbook is for, is to give people guidelines on, okay, well, what do you do if one is involved in the complaint, or all of them are involved in the complaint, or what if all of them have a conflict of interest? How do you determine who the investigation team is? And the investigation team isn't in the Corpora at all. But it's going to need to be looked at if this number 4 changes. I think it needs to be looked at anyway, but
well, it
that's a
needs to be
different
looked at. Most of the COC handbook refers to the investigation team, and in the glossary at back, it says investigation team as defined in the Corpora under the mundane issues. So for the most part, we don't actually need to update the COC handbook. There's, I think, one line that actually says, one line that actually specifies Monarch and others, which should be updated and just say investigation team. And then that way we can modify the Corpora as we need to as we go along. And the COC just everywhere points to the Corpora.
Okay. So in number 4 then, is the way it's written, is that combining? Like you had talked about, is that combining section 2, 1, and 2? Or did you want to pull that and reword it differently?
So as I have it up right now, let's see, let me get to that section. We have 4A, should one of the involved in the complaint replaced by the next so on and so forth. B, membership may be terminated for a set period of time or permanently. C, cases in which may be terminated, and then it refers to the code of conduct and has those 7 items that are directly in the code of conduct.
So it's really just the section 4 termination of membership. That's the
Yeah.
only section.
Yeah. I think we run with what's on there now.
Yeah,
And then next all thing, we can do a follow-up update, section 11 with mundane issues. If we need to. We,
A couple of things I noticed kind of after the fact. Because the rule book says it has to be the monarch and one other, that means we cannot say that the monarch can't do it. So if the monarch's involved, they still don't get to step down. They have to do it. So I think
that's
what might be,
silliness.
what?
That
I
should have
think
been,
that's silliness. If the monarch is involved,
that should have been sent to the rules change committee for this
Well,
summer.
right. So I think the answer is actually that if the monarch has a complaint, they have to be, and then
impeached.
they can go through the system as normal, with the regent being the new monarch.
So this is an area where
whoa,
there's things where you can add things to above the rule book as long as you're not changing it, shall we say? So you can add methods to suspend people, which is what we're doing. And I don't remember what kingdom. There's a kingdom where suspensions are handled by their board of directors.
Okay.
please God, no.
Yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. That's the last thing I want to do. Not until we have director and liability insurance, because that's the last thing we want to be messing with.
Yeah. Okay. So
So there's nothing anywhere that says if the monarch is the subject of the investigation,
no,
they're replaced by the regent?
only if they can't do their job, which would be, you know, if it's a serious enough offense that they get removed from office, then the regent automatically steps up to become monarch.
So I'm gonna just give an example. So in a past investigation, the monarch was the subject of the investigation. And I don't know how they would have been able to function as part of the investigation team when it was against them.
I
there's-
agree.
There's no way.
No, I agree. It's just a matter of order of operations. But if you guys are comfortable leaving it how it is in the amendment right now, that's fine.
I think I like in that context, should one of the above be involved in the complaint, they may be replaced by the next available monarchy member in order of precedence. The only thing that I see is missing is that, what do you do if all of them are involved in the complaint? I've had that
If
happen.
they-
I
if
have
they've
had
all
that happen.
colluded or
I've had that
whatever.
happen, and there is absolutely zero anywhere on what the heck do you do if all of them are the subject, or if all of them are involved in the complaint. There's nothing.
At the
Put in a
kingdom level, you've
petition
had
to
that happen?
impeach.
Well, what if you can't actually tell people why they need to be impeached? Like if it's a private matter, because that completely messes up that whole order of operations. You
Yeah,
can't like put all the drama public and go, this is why they need to be impeached if it's
No,
a
you
sensitive
can't.
matter.
You can't, that's the whole thing.
So I mean, that is something to consider in that
Okay,
case.
so
So
I-
as far as
leave it the way it
this
is
all
then.
thing goes, I think that this is good because at least it gives us something more about they may be replaced by the next available at least that gives us something.
yeah.
But I'm just saying there's a huge gray area that I've experienced that sucked because there was no guidelines. I'm just gonna,
did
but that
happen
doesn't
at the
need to go in
kingdom
here.
level? Jody,
What?
when you had all the monarchy members, was that at the kingdom level?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Oof.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably a rare occurrence, but it's clearly
I
not
hope
outside
so.
outside the realm of possibilities. I feel like we're missing somebody. Who else was supposed to be here?
Chicken
Chicken. That's who we're missing. Okay.
Chicken message,
And,
and he's gonna
David
try to
Yates.
join.
Okay, cool. I just took a quick look at the screen and was like, hey, it looks like we're a couple of people short. Not
Yeah.
that I said
We're also missing
thing, but
Darius.
just general.
And
Gotcha.
Rose Thorne.
Oh, yeah.
I was just talking to Rose, I thought. Maybe they're not online. Maybe
Anyway,
not.
so as far as the number 4 goes, I would vote to keep it in the all thing. I would vote to keep it in the all thing.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so then the other thing I was hoping to talk about was quals.
Yeah, have we gotten word back from the various lands on that voted against it on why?
No. The only feedback I really got was, yeah, it was probably a good idea, but it was too complicated and they didn't want to read it.
Face palm.
You can't
saw that.
legislate idiocy out of people.
I saw that.
I mean, and then there's the people who legitimately think we need to keep quals, and there's no changing their minds. So,
Would someone
with
like
that
to
in
put up
mind-
a
okay, David, you go.
Would someone like to put up a poll on Facebook getting some input why people no voted it? It's been in my
Yeah.
brain to do, but I just haven't done it.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I'm gonna write that down. Okay, so in the meantime, however, we do have the issue of 2 kingdom events happening at the same time.
No, I have
I
a
do not
solution to
think
that.
it's the same big a deal that Rourke did, obviously. However, I also think it's not necessarily ideal. So I thought of a couple different options. One of them being that we allow 2 regional quals to happen on the same weekend, north and south, and that once a year Kingdom Quals is in the north region and once a year Kingdom Quals is in the south region. But regional quals is good enough to qualify for running for kingdom level office.
Now, do you mean once a year or once a term?
Once a year. So every spring quals are in the north, every fall quals are in the south. Kingdom level, so that they can do the kingdom level awards and stuff.
Okay.
But can somebody qualify for kingdom level position in the not kingdom quals?
Right, that's what I'm saying, is if we rewrite it so that regional quals is good enough to qualify for kingdom level office, that covers it.
So really, the only reason we're splitting it up is because of the whole awards warlord
Fighter.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
Alright.
a perception thing, sure. I think it also lends a little bit of oomph to the southern lands when they want to have that pull of it's a kingdom level event. I think it would help them out, actually.
I mean, that's not
Yeah.
a bad thing. They definitely need a little bit more representation. That's
So
100% true.
honestly, my feeling on that is hold this issue hostage until they pass the separating quals from monarchy requirement.
Well, but if they're not passing it, then we need to, and for that matter, if we decouple quals, then we don't need
Or
to do this
put them
anymore.
both into the same bill.
Then I think it guarantees neither one will pass.
But then that satisfies that gets the people who want them split to vote for the division.
Yeah, or we end up stuck with people who don't want them split. And then we still have the 2 quals problem.
Yeah. Or we have people who didn't read the entire thing because it's too long, no vote it. Or we'll have people
Yeah.
We'll have people who think it's a good idea, but it needs to be written better, no vote it.
A lot of those. Or
Right.
They didn't.
Even
should
I
be
thought there was
endorsed
some
my
bad
friend,
writing.
So
Even-
I'm not going to support anything she puts up. I'm sure there's a couple of those out there right now.
There'd be a few of those at every crowd, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No matter who's currently sitting in the seat. I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all.
I like the idea of the kingdom level quals be in the north in the spring and the south in the fall. I think though, if you're going to qualify for a kingdom level, then you go to the kingdom level quals in the north in the spring and the fall in the south. And then the fall monarchy is southern people and the spring is the north, unless people from the north travel to the south to qualify. This is
The
not
problem we
separate.
have there
Yeah,
is that the South hasn't run for office. They've had the opportunity and they just haven't.
well, that's what
So
I'm
if
saying
we-
is if you have kingdom level quals in the south in the fall, then either people from the north travel and qualify, or the south puts up and shuts up. Your kingdom level quals is there. If you guys want representation in West March monarchy, then you go to kingdom level quals when it's in the south and you qualify and you do the thing.
So my concern is that kingdom level is held in San Diego and nobody in the South runs for office. And that means if somebody from, say, Crimsonwood wants to run for office unopposed, they have to drive 11 hours for a day event in order to do it.
It's not any different from the south having to drive 11 hours up here to qualify.
Yeah, but no one
Well,
from the
right,
south
which is
was
why
one
I'm
that
saying-
has declared,
What?
but no one from the south was ever declared.
Right.
Yeah, and they didn't even declare during COVID when it was basically a virtual kingdom.
Well,
And they
maybe
could have.
maybe
They-
we need to reach out and say, hey, here's your chance. And do the thing.
It's not like
I mean,
there's not
They
people
have
down
had the
there that,
ability to do it for a couple of years now. We made the two kingdom quals thing happen a couple years ago. So it's not an issue of them not being able to get to kingdom level quals.
and we also told them, if you guys want to be a principality and then form your own kingdom, you're gonna need to step up.
Right.
I mean, if they
So-
want to be a principality, they need to act like it, which means holding their joint calls big time, which they
Absolutely,
did in November, but not this past round.
absolutely.
Who is heading the whole principality? We want to be our own kingdom movement. Like who's the head of this? Because I feel like some of these things might just be oversight, and they literally might just need to be told exactly what we just said. Hey, we understand your guys' urge to grow and become independent, and in order to do that, you need to do show us X, Y, Z. I mean, have we
So
like
I-
reached the olive branch out like officially, so to speak?
Yes.
No, but
I
I've been kind of
did a-
monitoring them.
I did a sort of town hall-ish type of Zoom meeting or some format, I forget what platform, Discord, on Tuesday with them. Scorch
Okay.
was kind of moderating the meeting,
Mm.
seemed to be the one that was most together and wanting to make Principality happen.
Mhm.
I think they liked the regional quals idea. Not everybody did, but some of them did. And they certainly didn't suggest anything else. There's a whole lot of can't do attitude happening. And I'm hoping that, with some hand holding, they'll get over that. But at this point, they know they're not ready, and they don't
Do they
know.
have the numbers to support it? I mean, to be frank, do they currently have the numbers to support Principality?
I do not know. But what I do know, and what they agreed with me on, was they don't have the leadership. They don't have enough leaders in each land to be able to take care of their home business and another level of government. And so some of them are like, yeah, we know, and we're working on that. And some of them are like, well, we can't because this, because that, because this. And those ones who, you know, make all the excuses are going to drag them all down if they're not careful. So anyways,
But
back to,
How
Go
do we
ahead.
support the ones like Scorch and Tanis and those who are enthusiastic? And well, Lothar wasn't at the meeting, but how do we support the people that actually have the experience and the enthusiasm that could make it work? How do we? I think that's probably not part of the Corpora committee. So sorry.
well, I think making regional quals a thing would help with that, because it would mean that anybody who does ever decide to run has the option of going, you know, a couple of hours to an event that will get them qualled for Kingdom Office. So that helps them as much as it helps us. And if we label it Kingdom half the time, one place, half the time, the other place, I hope that would encourage travel between the two.
But they don't have to go to the Kingdom level quals to qualify for Kingdom Office.
That's true, but it would encourage them if they want the recognition or the awards or whatever.
Or
They
the
could
Orders
come
of the
up.
Warrior. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But truth of the matter is most of them don't want to come up here, and most of the North doesn't go down there. And it's another one of those, you can't legislate people's feelings. You know, we can make all the rules we want, but I don't think it's going to change anything unless people want it to change.
So in looking at Article 6, Crown qualifications, you have to qualify in the categories in cultural and combat contests. They're held once every 6 months, at least 1 week prior to elections. 2 chapters shall host Crown qualifications, one north of Gilroy and one south of Gilroy. So chapters wishing to host them must submit their bid, So we would add something that says Kingdom level qualifications would be north of Gilroy in the spring, south of Gilroy in the fall. Regional quals would enable someone to qualify for Kingdom Monarchy. That's kind of the bottom line? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I might word it slightly differently, but certainly.
Yeah, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
just
close.
get like the general gist. The other thing, just that I'm gonna say, because after mid-rain, I'm gonna have to jump off the cliff, is looking for hosts for quals.
Right.
And so kind of what I'm looking at is one is north, one is south. They will not be on the same day.
Right.
I
Sure.
was like, they will not be on the same day. And I don't know if
I
that
mean,
needs to be put in here either. That the north and south qualifications, regional and Kingdom, need to be on a different day.
well, if we make one regional and one Kingdom, then they don't have to be on a different day. Because people who want to go to the Kingdom level can travel to the Kingdom level. They don't need to be able to go to both.
So then would you make the Kingdom level quals the location that you need to go to for West March Dragon Master as well as, is it Weapon Master?
No, those are mid-reign. Right now, those aren't
Oh, okay.
at all
So
discussed.
it's Cultural Champion and War Master? I
Yeah, I
always get
believe
the,
so.
I always get those mixed up. Okay, all right.
I also think if we're gonna make that change, we should specify that it needs to be further south than Gilroy, because Gilroy is, well, I am south of Gilroy right now. And that's not a fair expectation for people from San Diego to do in one day. So it should be more like south of Santa Barbara.
I mean, if they wanted to go as far north as SSD, that's probably fine, but
Yeah, I agree. But San Luis Obispo is still probably a good 5-6 hours from San Diego.
How does
5 to 6 hours from
places-
us too, up here.
How does places
Yeah.
like Nine Blades handle this? Because like Canada's pretty large, and I know they have a very similar issue that we do when it comes to places being all spread out across their specific kingdom. Do we have any indication of how like other large areas do that?
I was in Golden Vale, and they're probably about 10 hours from coast to coast, as it were. And they had one quals, and I'm not sure if I remember how it was set, probably by the previous monarchy. They also had their BOD that actually set locations for events. They always had the same place, and the BOD did all the reservations. So I'm not 100% sure how they set it, but it did move around. Sometimes it was in Western New York, and sometimes it was in Maine. And they had a pretty good mixture of people from all over doing it, and people just traveled. But California doesn't have the same mentality, you know?
I'm just looking because there was a post here about that, and I don't know that I'll be able to find it quickly, but there was somebody who posted in this other thread about Texas has a land in like Arizona and a land in Nevada, and they basically travel. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I think most roving crown kingdoms just travel, suck it up and travel. But California has already been willing to do that.
Yeah, it's just a cultural difference is really what it is.
Right.
yeah, saying that I would have to go to SoCal in order to run for kingdom office, I'll vote no to that, but
Well, you mail stuff or send stuff with someone who's going, and
Yeah.
have someone stand in for you at the fighting competition.
Well, you can't have somebody stand in for you at the fighting competition. I mean, you can get excused by the autocrats,
Okay.
but at that point,
But we could.
Why
I thought
even
you could
bother
take
having
a
it?
proxy in for fighting.
what's that?
I thought you could take a sorry. I thought you
Nope.
could take a proxy when it came to fighting.
No, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure
that
not.
might be a dragon
can-
sign thing.
So I've done that. I've like had a bad ankle or something, and I did ask someone to stand in for me to do the fighting for me. That is in the Corpora or Rules of Play somewhere, but I was there. It wasn't like I didn't
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
travel and I sent someone to Southern California. It was, I'm here, but I just can't fight. Can you fight for me? And I will be here and participate. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah, slightly different. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I
I'm
will be
seeing
right
in
back,
the-
but please continue the conversation.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the Corpora, fighting requirements may be waived with a joint agreement of monarch and autocrat.
Right, but I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty sure that's the only official way to do it.
Yeah,
But I think everyone here kind of agrees that we should get rid of that. So,
Yeah.
and we got voted down, so we have to work with what we've been given.
So we're gonna put up a survey. What is the survey gonna say?
Basically, I was gonna, put up the wording again, how we had it, and ask for discussion and ask people who are dues paid to vote and say why they voted that way and if we could change their minds.
What I think would be good is if you actually put it up as a survey. If
Yeah.
there was a way you could make a survey and then discussion below.
And for the first yes or no is, do people want it separated? Then what's the wording?
I think we can do a poll. I don't know if we can do a survey that would.
Yeah,
A
poll.
poll, yeah.
allow
That's
it.
what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay.
'Cause that's,
Okay, I've returned.
can easy do that.
Okay, so Jody, I'm thinking I'm hearing that you're pretty opposed to having regional quals qualify for kingdom level office. What's everyone else feeling on that?
I like the idea.
I am opposed to the fall, you have to go down to SoCal, spring, you have to come up here.
But would you be okay if it was in fall, you go down to SoCal for kingdom level, but you can qualify for kingdom level office at the regional northern quals?
I don't know that I was opposed to that. I'm not sure that I
okay.
understood that
Yeah.
I thought it was, I didn't understand that the fighting part of it. That if you want qualify for Orders of the Warrior, then you got to go travel at the kingdom level. But if you want to run for a monarchy office, you have to qualify at a regional and that would be okay. I'd be totally down with that.
I
Okay,
mean, that sounds
Okay.
like a somewhat decent compromise when you phrase it like that. I think the phrasing of the initiative is going to be the most important part because I can see where some folks are going to get, confused.
Yeah, what Jody was saying, that does sound fine with me. If people want to go win tournaments and we make that seasonal, fine.
okay. Alrighty, then Jody, it sounds like you had the best wording. Would you be willing to write up a
Geez.
proposal and then we can kind of hash it out on our own time for
Yes, if I
nitpicky
remember what I
details?
just said, I would be happy to do that.
lovely?
That's why we made the recording. So worst case, you can just re-listen to the recording.
Okay, wait, how many minutes am I into this so I can find it? Okay, I got it.
Alrighty. I'm looking for what other things. There was something. Stupid little nitpicky thing, but still, I believe in our Corpora, it lists class masterhoods instead of paragons.
Oh,
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's gonna cause any fuss, but we need to have a vote to change that, I think.
I think the only fuss it's gonna cause is people nitpicking about why are we having these all things for verbiage, but I think
yeah, I
people will,
thought Kyle was specifically complaining about that. About too many things to vote on.
Yeah. He was kind of the one who I was thinking might have been lashing out a little bit because that happened the day after I told his friend I wasn't going to give him an award he wanted.
Hmm.
So, and it was kind of out of character for Kyle. Normally he's been
Yeah,
pretty,
it seems
Oh.
out of character. Yeah.
so, yeah. But I think legally we have to vote on those changes. And I do think we should be in line with the rules of play. So, do we want to, and are we allowed to make an amendment that adds authority to, say, the monarch and PM by joint agreement to make verbiage changes without any content changes?
I like it.
That seems a little slippery slope.
It's kind of overpowered.
Yeah, I mean, because like tiny word changes can, I mean, even just changing an and to an or can vastly change the definition of a sentence.
Yeah.
Whereas
So,
our first Corpora where we couldn't pass any amendments because of a wording change.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That took us, what, 6 votes to finally update it, and a threat from the Queen of Dragon Spine?
oh, I didn't hear this story. That's
That was when we were
okay.
first doing Principality.
That was before my time.
And the wording for a Corpora change was 2/3 of voting members. Which means somebody doesn't vote, they're still counted in the no votes.
It was 2/3 of vote eligible members, not of those who voted.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so is there another way we want to handle that, or do we want to just stick to the current process of having it, every little thing be voted on?
I like the idea, but I can also see a monarch abusing it. Not that I've ever had personal experience with a monarch wanting to abuse that.
The other possibility I see is making the Corpora committee an official thing with elected members who then have that authority. I would say it'd probably be at least a 1-year stint.
I hear crickets.
How do we
I'm
define
not opposed
verbiage?
to that. I'm not opposed to that.
I'm just trying to think of loopholes and downsides and
Right.
and if it could be abused and how would it be abused, and in general, I mean, I know there's in some circles within our kingdom, you know, folks absolutely despise the Corpora committee and they think we shouldn't be touching the Corpora at all. And you know,
Well, then
I
they
have
can
heard some.
freaking
I have
join the
heard some.
Corpora committee.
Well, I mean, I've had some complaints, you know, that we're making changes and changing things when there's no problem to be fixed. I don't necessarily know that I 100% agree that, because I can see the logic in a lot of the things we're doing. But I mean, you know, I'm just trying to think of where the pushback could possibly come from, and I know that's going to be a pushback if we try to make it official. I think we'd really have to make our case in order to sell it. I think it'd probably be a decent thing to do. Like, I think the Corpora committee personally should be possibly, you know, legitimized like the BOD committee. And I also think that the recruiting committee or recruiting guild should also be like legitimized. But if we're going to get any naysayers, that's, I think, essentially the arguments that they're going to be making.
And while we're at it, we need an IT committee to manage the
Oh
website
God, yes,
Yeah, we do.
and
we really do.
other stuff.
Okay, this is like beyond my purview of making many committees.
Okay, so how about a Corpora committee that's elected once a year, plus the monarch and PM? And they have the authority to make non-content verbiage changes or update to reflect changes to the rules of play.
Yes, and when the rules
all their
apply, they
changes-
can update the corpora accordingly. Yeah.
And all their changes would come up for a single vote every 6 months. So, you know, the rules of play change. So our Corpora committee could then go in and say, we're making this change effective immediately to match the rules of play. And then in 6 months, it can get voted yes or no. And if it gets voted no, it goes back to the original. And if it gets voted yes, then it stays in.
So section 3, the all thing types of issues discussed and voted on by voting members include revising and updating the corpora with a 2/3 majority. I think that, to me, that says that any changes to the corpora need to be brought to the populace and they need to vote on them. I don't
Right.
think that people are going to, at the end of a year, go through a 2 or 3 page document with single word changes as well as major changes and have the attention span or the interest to really do that justice. I don't know that
Then do it the
Don't-
other way around. The committee's changes are binding unless they vote to get rid of them.
Well,
I think that any change to the corpora, like the whole and or word argument, I think it should be brought to the populace and not just, it just seems to me like you're kind of sneaking things in there just with a word or two. And I understand the intention, but I don't think that a lot of the populace is gonna have that same appreciation.
As annoying as it is, I kind of agree. I think if we're gonna make any changes to the Corpora, it needs to be run by the populace.
And if they want to bitch that it's like 1 year, 1 word, and it's petty and simple, fine, they can bitch about that. But I'd rather have them bitch about that than, oh, well, you guys made this word change and you didn't tell us. And then it made this change in our lives as West March members, but nobody told us.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there's also been I don't know what kingdom it is, but I feel like I have seen this exact same situation play out recently in like, not Nine Blades, but Viridium Outlands. I think they
Outlands.
just went, I think they just
Oh
went through
God,
something.
that mess, yes.
Yeah, and that was a very
Right.
similar.
Oh,
and-
Jesus.
And that was a very similar situation where somebody decided to do an and or an or, and it went through, and they're like, wait, we didn't vote on this. And
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact specifics, but I do feel like we've recently seen some drama in a very similar circumstance. So I kind of feel like it's, I mean, it would be much easier if we could do it this way, but I feel like we should probably just, you know, run it by the park or the parks, but you know, the populace, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
after like 7 or 8 times, if they keep saying it's annoying, then let's put an amendment for us to actually be able to make these changes on our own.
yeah, then you can say, hey, you guys keep complaining. And we can do this if you want, but you vote on it and give us that authority and then stop complaining.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll have the
Like that.
receipts at that point, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going back
everybody's
to
okay, though,
the,
with
going back to the Paragon Master, I think
Yeah.
that that's a really good one to put forth for an all thing for a wording change.
yeah. Okay.
Is
Cool.
I
it,
like that one.
is it worth putting in a line that says, Paragon is also known as Masterhood?
I think the rules of play say that, so yes, I'd probably go to what the rules of play say and echo it. Because, yeah, I think it is important that we do recognize that some people are old school.
I'm old school.
Yeah,
And then something, I guess, kind of similar off topic, under the awards that can be given, this is related to the recent issue we had. Everything has a symbol, and it's unofficial and described amped wiki, except orders of the warriors say, represented by a serpent or a dragon or whatever. And that's where it says 10th level, also known as warlord. If we just got rid of that entire section,
Yeah.
first off, we don't need it. It's orders
Wait,
of
where
the
is
warrior
that? Is
are
that-
the only ones that say green favor represented by a snake or brown favor by a boar.
Wait,
And
wait,
then
is that in the Corpora or rules of
it's
play?
in our Corpora.
So where is that?
under-
What page? Where?
It's under awards, page 15. Article 8, section 2, listing all the
Oh.
awards,
Oh, I was close. Okay, got it.
right?
That's
All
where I
the
was at.
awards that the monarch and
Yeah.
region can give.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying
All right,
that
so you
it's
guys
already
want to
in?
put up something to get rid of 5A, I through, or 1 through 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
why?
Hmm?
Why?
We don't use it. And I mean, it's superfluous. It wastes space. And then number 10 is where we've got the
Controversy?
where it says a 10th order is known as a warlord,
I
which
would,
contradicts the rule book.
that we should definitely get rid of that.
Yeah. But if we're updating that section, we might as well just get rid of all of it.
So I'm just looking forward, like, okay, we're gonna put forth an all thing. So 5AX, delete X. Or
Delete
delete.
5A, I through X, or 1 through
Yeah,
10.
I wonder how many people are gonna look at that and go, well, wait. What about my 10th order of the warrior? I'm automatically a warlord.
Right. So we say, these favors we don't use, and it contradicts the rules of play.
Yeah.
Valid. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree.
Almost made it through everything without spilling. And something is just spilled. So,
Okay. I'm trying to write down where all these things are. Section 3. Okay, another question I had. Currently in our Corpora, there is a way to remove masterhoods and, no, sorry, not masterhoods, knighthoods and titles of nobility. But there is no way to remove anything else. I kind of would say that maybe we want to change it to can be removed, with an all thing vote because of an infraction of the COC, not just as a popularity contest.
Are you looking at section 5, number 4?
Let's see. It's under,
titles of nobility.
yeah, I think I want to say it's at the very bottom. Yeah.
Number 4.
And it's also at the end of knighthood as well. It's the exact same thing. It says knighthood instead of nobility.
do these titles exist in the rules of play? And if so, is there allowance there for removal of them?
I don't think so.
Is that a conflict?
I don't know.
I know that we talked earlier that someone can be stripped of all titles for violations, but
Well, but currently we don't have that power. I mean, I think anything can be done by the all thing. But I think it's weird having it in those 2 places only, but not anywhere else, and not having any sort of reason for it. Just making it a popularity contest bugs me.
Did you know that in the rules of play, it says the Amtgard rulebook uses the terms ban and suspension interchangeably, regardless of duration or other qualifiers for purposes of the code of conduct.
Yeah. Yeah, we
I
talked
don't know
about
that I ever, that would be an awesome Reeves test question.
So I don't, yeah, do you guys want to just remove that completely, or do you want to clarify it? Do you want to extend it to all awards? Or do you want to get rid of it completely?
I feel like I need to think about that one just a little bit.
Okay, why don't we table that then and think about it? Oh, the other issue is it's 2/3 of all kingdom nobles and 2/3 of the kingdom all thing. And that's another level of complication that we don't want to deal with, I don't think.
Nobles and all things?
Yes, for nobles, it's all nobles, or 2/3 of all nobles and the all thing. And for knights, it's 2/3 of knights and 2/3 of the all thing.
I mean, that's kind of similar.
It's just, that means you have to track down every knight, whether or not they're voting eligible.
Oh,
And every
gosh,
noble.
yeah.
And every
And every
noble,
lord
whether or
title.
not they're voting eligible. Yeah.
The
it's
nobles will
well-
be really hard.
No, for the knights, it's at least 2/3 votes of the circle of knights. So if someone doesn't vote, they don't count for the 2/3. But yeah,
I don't
title
think
of
that's how the
nobility.
Circle of Knights is defined.
Hmm?
I don't think that's how the Circle of Knights is defined currently. Let's see.
Well,
Where-
it's,
all knights who are members of West March Ort sponsored chapters. You can only vote if you're voting eligible, but you're a
Okay.
member if you're a member.
so a 2/3 vote of the circle of knights. The circle of knights votes. If some knight doesn't abstains or doesn't vote, that doesn't feed into the 2/3.
It's messy. That's it. It's a holdover from when we were using the same
Yeah.
thing as Burning Lands, I think. I mean, it's a really old tradition.
Yeah.
And it does not fit with how we're operating currently.
Well, don't
Yeah.
you have like, these are the people that are knights in West March and there's 20 of them or like 21 of them and you need, what is it, 18 to
Sure.
vote or 4, I mean, 14?
Yes, but then there's the nobles, and that's really hard to track down every
That's-
single noble.
yeah,
And
that's,
yeah, that one very specifically says 2/3 of all nobles.
So
I don't
I
think
would
we've
rather
ever done
just,
that in the history of ever.
Basically impossible.
yeah. I don't
mean, it
know
was
that we've,
doable when we were, just Wave Haven. And, we had 40 people. We didn't have any voting requirements except dues paid, but you didn't have any attendance requirements. And we were all at park every day, but it doesn't work anymore.
No.
Okay.
Do you
Anyways,
have
think
more
about
titles, you
how
get
you
more
might
votes
want
on
to
that?
change that. Sorry, what?
Hope not.
If you have more titles, do you get more votes?
Mm.
Or is it in order of precedence?
Yeah, higher level titles get more votes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
okay. So let's think about that and table it and come back to that next time.
I'd like to also officially make a suggestion. I think, and this is partly coming from my confusion from not being able to hit the meeting prior. But when we do in the future bring up random things, if we could include a bullet point of the reason we're trying to fix this, and not
yes.
just randomly throwing up a change, I think that would also go a long way to inform the populace, because we, outside of that, know why we're trying to make these changes. But yeah, short answer is I think we should include that bullet point.
Yeah.
hey,
okay.
so do we have a secretary?
Not it. I'm already
Those
struggling
girls?
with the.
Got it.
Nope.
I'm already struggling with trying to keep the recruiting committee stuff ship shape. I can't deal with this too.
I think that's the problem. Everybody here is already doing so much. Okay. There was something else.
This is basically informal, the circle of monarchs for.
I'm sorry, say again, James?
This committee is kind of informally circle of monarchs for Westmarch, so.
Oh, and a sheriff of officially dead land as of today.
A sheriff is a monarch.
Absolutely.
I actually just finished updating our credits just now.
Good job. Congratulations.
So, I have 124 credits in color. I do not know how that happened.
I
It's
do.
like 12th level color. What the heck?
I know exactly how that happened.
Okay, I guess the next thing I would like to look at, because I'm jumping all over the place and I'm sorry, but this is kind of a big one to me. Getting the Guildmaster of Reeves to be more in line with other monarchy positions. Currently, only Reeves can vote for the Guildmaster of Reeves.
That
And
always struck me as weird.
Yeah, if they're a full officer, that should be open to everyone. And I think that's a big, important change that's small, but important.
Do we have any numbers on how many people we have, like Reeves qualified in any given?
I mean, ideally, prime ministers are updating that section of the org to say who's Reeves qualified. In reality, it's not updated very well, or sometimes ever.
No.
There's been a few glitches, where it's ended up that everybody voted instead of just the Reeves qualified people. And the good news is most of the GMR elections have been close to 100%, so it didn't matter to the results. Yeah. Since they are so involved now in part of the monarchy, it does make sense to open it up, and that'll also make elections a little easier.
I'm all for simplifying elections. Having to go through and individually pick out players just seems like a PETA. And I'm not even the one doing it. It just seems like a PETA.
So you'd want to change section 6, item line 2.
Correct. I would just want to delete it.
Get rid of that. Okay, so is anybody taking notes so that we know that we're
I'm trying to, but
okay? All right.
Yeah. So what article is that again?
That is article. Hold on. Article 3, section 6. Line or item 2 gets removed.
Okay. Okay.
So candidates for GMR must be voting members who are also members of the Reeves Guild. Champion.
Oh yeah, we also have to delete 2 and 4.
4, and then there's another one somewhere that Weapon Masters run by GMR. Number 12. Number 12 needs to go away.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they are the 5th monarchy position.
Yeah. And then
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Number 14, I want to strike it and change it so that it reflects the wording of the other officers and say basically, should the position of Guildmaster of Reeves become vacant, the monarch must appoint a voting member as pro tem. Guildmaster of Reeves, the appointment of the pro tem Guildmaster of Reeves is to be confirmed with the next all thing with a confidence vote. which is basically exactly what all the other officers say
But
currently.
they need to also pass the tests.
Yes.
Presumably, the monarch will pick someone who has.
Yep, actually, yep, so let's see, 2. Wait,
2, 4, and 12 are getting deleted. 14 is getting
12.
reworded.
Yep. Oh, I love that. Because that was kind of one of my things is when I was GMR, it's a lot of work. And I just wanted to give them credit for, as a monarchy position, for crowns. Because they do as much work, probably more work than the champion. So I'm really happy about that, this one,
Okay.
if that matters.
It does. We want happy
Yeah.
people.
-2,
Mhm.
-4. What else? -12. And change 14. Okay.
Correct. Okay. So that is already 3 proposals for next time.
So can you tell me again the 3 proposals?
Article 8, Section 3, change class masterhood references to Paragon.
Wait, section 3. Matt, okay,
Change all class masterhood references to Paragon.
uh-huh,
The next one is Article 8, Section 5A, I through, or 1 through
Right.
10.
yeah, okay.
Get rid of it.
And then the GMR section.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm gonna work on watching the recording and getting the wording for the Kingdom calls, north, south, regional, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And I'll post
Um,
that in our thread, just to make sure that I get it correct and everybody's in agreement. And then you're gonna make a poll on why people voted no for the quals, is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Okay, so things to be thinking about maybe for next time. I would like to look at Article 2 membership. There's a few things in there I think I want to reword and change. Getting rid of the requiring an ID seems like I don't
Mm,
think I've ever been asked for my ID.
I was at TR, they had new people sign waivers and they asked for their ID.
It's on the waiver.
Oh, good for
Yep.
them.
Yeah,
The
it is
waiver-
on the waiver.
Absolutely.
So that's actually more on the PM and something we probably should just do a shout out to all PMs and go, reminder, you do need to ask for this. But that
Yeah,
said, I know some people don't. I mean, the sheriff before me was sheriff for quite a while and had never produced an ID because they did not have one. So, I mean, I do know things get slipped through the cracks there.
yeah, okay. I also want people to be thinking about voting requirements. I think 6 in 3 months is too much. And it leads to a lot of this creating excuses for credits and yeah, the online sign-ins and different lands doing different things, and it's bugging me. So personally, I'd be in favor of signed in locally once in the last month and been a member for 6 months or something. But think on that.
But then you also wanted people to participate and come out in person to parks.
Well, right, but
And if you don't come out in person to parks, then you're not really in tune with what's going on. And so it's hard to be aware and informed of what you're voting on. I'm just throwing that out there because
Yeah, no,
I struggled to get out enough.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at my credits right now going, oh, I have to sign in this month or else I have technically not signed in at any part. I've been doing all this other stuff, but I'm technically not
Right.
signed in since in all of July unless I sign it this weekend. So I mean,
Come
that's
to
something I need
Conclave
fix.
tomorrow.
I'm coming.
I'm hoping I can. If I
there.
finish the audit tonight, I will be there tomorrow. But if not, I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll go down to Wave Haven, stand in the field, and take a picture of myself in case nobody shows up, and then drive back home.
What time does it start?
Noon,
Noon?
Noon? Okay.
and we're not
It's in
meeting at a
Berkeley,
regular
right?
place.
No, I got it.
Oh,
It's
you're
like-
not.
No,
Okay.
it's off of the freeway at a park behind a pub or something.
Okay.
Cafe.
I'm gonna have to. I'll have to Google where that is and see how much more of a commute it is.
It's closer.
Christine, are you going tomorrow?
I am.
Can I hitch a ride with you if I get the stuff I need to have done?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It adds half an hour to my drive time
To get to
if-
me?
to get to you. Yeah.
Really? I
because-
thought you would take 17.
No, we're far enough south that we actually go up 101.
Oh.
So
Well,
the
if
good
it's-
news
So if
is
you wanted to like
we're right
meet
off
in
the
Los
freeway.
Gatos or something, that would save me a bunch of time.
We might be able to do that actually. I'll talk to my husband. We'll deal with this after the meeting actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
So the good news is we're right off the freeway, so that saves you half an hour driving through Berkeley and finding
Yeah.
parking.
Keep in mind, I haven't been up to you guys since you were playing at the marina. So
Oh, this
and
is
that was
basically
pretty
back
much
at the
right
marina.
off the freeway.
Yeah, this is basically back at the marina.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, well then let's call it a night. But be thinking about those couple of things and
I
Yeah.
actually had one question before we we don't need to address this tonight, but I don't have the our working document in front of me. I need to find that link again.
uh-huh.
In terms of future items that we're going to be looking at, do we have oh god, I'm having a brain fart. Officially getting rid of lands and defunct lands on our to-do list? Because with audits coming up, I know that's going to be an issue that's going to rear its head again.
Right. Let's see. I don't think so, but I'm looking where that section is, and it's towards the end, I believe.
You might want to
No,
make
I'm
that
really,
a
I'm
next.
really glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
It's gonna make my brain explode. But it's been on my agenda. I think now that the CAM Guard website move has happened. And I stopped celebrating that, I'm gonna move on to the defunct lands list.
Okay, I'm still going down there. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Sponsored chapters, here we are.
Because personally, I would love to get those defunct lands off of our org. I'm not the
Yes.
kingdom. I'm not the kingdom
Yes.
prime minister, but it personally it ticks the little negative data box in my brain. and I'm
me
just like,
too.
"Ah,
Go
we
check
can
out the
clean it
org.
up."
It's like clutter in my house.
Go take
Yeah,
a look at
okay.
the org.
I'm staring at
I-
it right now.
Right.
I have
And,
it up
and
in
there,
front
there should
of
be
me.
like fewer. So I did do some
Oh,
maintenance
you
and
did do
just
some cleanup.
so
You did remove them.
I
Are we
did.
allowed to do that?
So there's a checkbox that says active or inactive, and I marked a few of them as inactive because they're inactive. They're still listed under West March. They're just hidden listed.
That's in the org?
Yeah,
I just realized, yeah, you're right. It's missing those
right.
those 3 lands.
Yeah, it's under the admin panel for West March and then configure
Oh.
parks. Because I had to go poke around there anyway because who is it? Quixotic Valley was wrongly
Quick-
listed as a Grand Duchy.
No, whoops.
So they're still listed as part of West, all those inactive ones, they're still listed as West March. They're just now listed as inactive since they're not meeting.
Yeah, but so
I'm cool with that. Honestly,
Well, I am
that was my
too.
only complaint. If that's
I
an
am
easy fix,
too,
then
but
we
as
don't
far
need to
as-
address it.
I am too, but as far as the BOD goes, and this is maybe not the right place to discuss it. They have money and they have cash box and there's like a procedure for closing them out,
which we don't
Yeah.
have written.
which,
We do.
no, it's,
Do we?
no, it is
Yeah.
somewhere. If the land
It
goes
is
to
in the
funds.
Corpora.
Yep, and we,
Article
area?
9, Section 1, number
Yep.
4. If a group dissolves, agrees to cease meeting, or fails to
Yep.
meet for a 6-month period, the prime minister of that group must transfer for all cash assets to West March. The funds will be held not to exceed 2 years. Should the group restart and maintain regular park days for 3 months, the assets and records shall be returned to that group's monarchy. Otherwise, the funds will be added into the West March General Fund and records retained for 3 years.
and we have never done
I'm-
that. We have
I'm
never
working
done
on
that
the
with any of them.
2019
Yeah.
Corpora. Yeah, that's definitely something we're gonna have to address. I mean, at this point, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a moot cause, but we should at least probably attempt it. Get a hold of whoever was the last known prime minister.
We can make
of
that our
each
new,
group.
yep, we can make that our new focus now that the CAM card move is done. And then we also have like the Golden City, but that's a BOD thing, so never mind.
Yeah, so actually the BOD
So,
doesn't have to deal with this. It's
that
all
might
about
not-
the West March Prime Minister. You're welcome, Dave.
Nope, it's gonna be
I'll just
Clinton.
delegate it to the next guy.
But my only concern was the orc, and if the orc's cleaned up, then it's not an issue for me anymore. So I don't care one way or another, other than the fact we should probably figure out where those cash boxes went for legal reasons.
Yep,
Yeah, well,
Well,
it goes
there-
to the PM. Now we know. All right. I don't have a calendar in front of me right this second, but it'd be nice to get another meeting in at least a few days before the next all things information is due. So
When is the next all thing? I didn't see a date for that. What
the
weekends
first
are we?
weekend of every month.
Yeah.
So
The
it'll
first
be
weekend of every month.
September.
Oh God, I'm
next
looking at
weekend
August.
is
There we go,
four.
September.
So
technically
I
it starts
we-
on the 1st, actually, because it's a Monday to Monday.
And we've
Uh,
given everybody notice online as per our Corpora. Yeah, because David posted it quite a while ago, or Christine posted it. Somebody posted it like 2 weeks ago. So that's ample notice.
for what?
We have to give everybody like what, 3 weeks notice
weeks.
with the all things, like 2 weeks notice with the all thing items before we have the vote, and work within that window is what I wanted
It's-
to make sure.
Oh,
Yeah. So I posted everything on the 18th, which is exactly 2 weeks before the 1st, which is when the all thing technically starts.
Perfect. Perfect.
So we're all set
Love
for
it.
this month.
yeah,
No,
And
the
then-
all thing is Monday to Monday.
Right.
That's what
which
you
is the
just said.
1st.
Oh, the
Yeah.
first tomorrow.
and first is Monday.
Uh,
No, we
Right.
got it,
So
got it.
what we're working on now is actually the stuff that we would have to publish by the 15th.
Okay. So do we want to try to meet that week to hash out any wording in order to post it on that
Okay,
date? Or
so mid-rain is the
That's the
13th,
weekend of mid-rain.
and I am like out of commission the week before, and I can meet the 14th, but just don't hold me to anything responsible, perhaps.
yeah, honestly, I'm looking at the wrong month here.
But I
Let me
can
get
meet the
to August.
14th. And I'm gonna be out of town the weekend of the 27th and 28th.
I have my app launch the week of the 8th. Well, I should be, I'm hoping the busy period for that launch is,
You wanna shoot for the
Mm.
14th?
I think the 14th works for me. I don't know about everybody else.
I can make that work.
Okay. The 6th is not good for you guys though, right?
No, because I have to do cooking and shopping and I'm working, and before mid-rain,
Okay.
just count me out. Like for the next 2 weeks,
Alrighty.
I can't take anything more on.
August 6th, I'll be in Indianapolis.
So it sounds like the
Okay,
14th is a
so-
good day for everybody.
8/14, we will have a meeting, and that gives me until the 15th.
All right,
Can
I'm
we-
putting it in my calendar right now.
Can we do it a
Um,
little earlier and I will make sure to not make a mistake and show up late?
Hey, it worked fine for me today, so don't feel bad. That was great timing.
If
But
it's
yeah,
earlier, I tend to be outside and other things distract me. I don't always have my phone.
Do you want to make
So
it
for me,
7 then
seven's actually
again?
pretty good.
Okay,
And we just need to remember to keep it kind of shortish.
Zoom link is good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
we
set it
wanna-
up.
Do we want to decide exactly what items we're gonna hit next time? So we're not.
Yeah,
overthinking
somebody could make an
subjects?
agenda.
I've got a couple of things that we talked about. Let's see, we don't need to talk about defunct lands anymore, but I do want to talk about voting eligibility.
Next time is membership, yeah, voting requirements. Membership, the article, no.
Yeah, the
The
removing
Article
of
8
awards.
class master to Paragon GMR section.
Yeah, I'll work at writing up the ones we did tonight. And then hopefully on the 14th, we can talk about those other 3 issues and maybe we'll have a huge whole thing again. It'll be great.
Okay, so next time, just to be specific, we're talking about membership, we're talking about class master to Paragon, and then we're also talking about the GMR requirements. Do I have that right?
No, we've already dealt
No.
with the master to Paragon. We're done with that.
Okay.
But we are going to be talking about how to remove awards.
How to remove awards. Okay, let me actually write that down so I can make sure. What the heck? All my notes just disappeared. Oh, that's the wrong calendar. 1 second.
I will try to be organized enough to get out an agenda, but organization is not my strong suit. You might have noticed.
I'm good with organization if my brain's not going in 30 million places at once. And right now it's going 30 million places at once.
Well,
Let me
that's
try
why
to
we
edit that
record this.
again. Okay, so one more time, we're dealing with membership. We're dealing
Voting
with
eligibility.
voting eligibility. Not
Yeah.
elephant, Amanda. Eligibility. Elephant is weird. Not eligu. What the heck? No, I can write this. I swear I can.
Eliku
Okay,
makes
voting
good.
eligibility,
Eliku makes
2/3
good resin.
removing awards.
removing awards.
And if we have time, I don't think we will, but if we have time, the other one I wanted to look at was the audit process. I want to
That would be tricky. That one
simplify
we're
it, not get
Well, that
rid of
one-
it, but I do
that
want to
one
get
we're
rid of the
gonna have to
grading.
look at our contract. That one we're gonna have to look at our contract with AmpGuard AI because I know they have specific requirements of what we have to. At least I'm pretty sure they have specific requirements to what we have to include in the audit. But I'm all for simplifying that process as long as we don't get on their bad side.
Okay,
Also, whatever NPOs cover.
so I think last time we had a BOD meeting, I asked if the BOD could come up with a list of what the contract says is required. I don't
With
know if that
AI?
ever is. Yeah, what our contract requires, what the taxes were required, the financial legality of our audits.
So for tax filings, I have to check for the federal, I have to check a box. Did we take in less than $50,000?
Is it bad that I pray the day we can say yes? We can say that.
Right.
And I know it's going to make our life
Yes,
more complicated, but I'm
Yes,
praying for that complication.
Well, I mean, a little more inflation and we'll be there in no time.
Oh God. Oh, about it. Quick side comment. Does anybody have the date for the next BOD meeting? I realize I don't have it on my
I
calendar.
do. I just happen to have that, and that is August 14th at 7 p.m. I
Okay,
haven't
let me
made a
put that-
Zoom.
Oh, I do have it on there already. Oh no, wait, I
Yeah,
have that
uh,
as the Corpora. August 14th
Yeah, we
at
just
7
need the
p.m.
Wait,
core
wait.
meeting then.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
a Corpora meeting. Hold on. August 7th.
August 7th. Okay, let me get that in the
Yeah,
calendar real
okay, I
quick,
got it.
just because my whole problem lately is I keep forgetting to put this crap on my calendar, so it keeps catching me off
So
guard.
the BOD meeting is
Um,
August 7th. That's the audit meeting.
Oh God, we're having
and
two
then-
meetings.
And then August
Right.
8th is all the rest of the stuff.
And what time are we meeting on
7
August
o'clock,
7th?
5 PM on the 7th,
5
7
p.m. on the
PM on
7th.
the 8th.
All right, I'm
So
sorry,
5
folks, I have to
PM,
do this
August 7th, Sunday
now.
is the audit. And 7 o'clock on August 8th is everything else.
Okay, hold
And
on a
then
second. 7 o'clock on August 8th is part 2 of the meeting.
part 2, and then 7 o'clock, August 14th is our next meeting.
Okay, I have that
Okay.
one down, part 2, and you said it was 7 p.m. So we have 5 p.m. on one day, 7 p.m. on the other.
Yeah.
All right, let me get that on the household calendar because my other issue is I keep scheduling things on my personal calendar, so my husband keeps double booking me for things. And the last question, and this one's specifically for Jody, is when are we having the next recruitment guild meeting so I can make sure I have that down properly?
We have not set it up yet, I don't think. I think we
Okay.
were gonna wait
All right.
until after your launch and probably maybe the new PM and get them involved and
Yeah, okay, that
yep,
sounds smart.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have
and I'm
that yet.
working on the plan, so yeah, and I'm working on that plan. So if Brienne can't make it, we're not going to be stonewalled and
Yes.
just sitting there twiddling our thumbs.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Well, so as soon as we have that down, we're good. But for now, it's open. Sweet. I think that's everything, at least on my end. Thank you for working with me and being patient while I did all that fiddly bit. But my ADD brain will 100% forget. In fact, pro tip: if you're ever in a meeting with me and we have something scheduled, somebody go, Amanda, did you put it on the calendar? Because if I didn't, yeah.
What happens when you get busy? Okay, so
Exactly.
I will probably see if I can upload this to YouTube and then I'll share the link with everybody. So that you can watch the recording.
All
'Cause it's
right,
gonna
I'm
be-
gonna check out, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Thank
I'm gonna go get
you.
dinner. It's been sitting up
Alrighty.
there getting cold.
Atlantis,
See you
wasn't there something?
tomorrow.
Wait, Atlantis, wasn't there something you said you wanted to talk to Amanda off afterwards?
Yeah, we're gonna try to do transportation so
Carpooling.
I can show
Okay,
up tomorrow.
that was just a
We're looking at
reminder.
carpooling.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Bye.
really appreciate it.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
folks.
See you tomorrow.